Alright, a quick disclaimer before I start this video. We're going to work on Complex House 2 and 3 in the next couple videos. In both videos, Aurora starts to really slow down. It's not computing very fast. A lot of that has to do with the fact that I'm running capture software along with working in Aurora, which is a really finicky program in itself. So if you're ever building a house this complex, you will experience some slowdown. You will experience some crashes. Mine does several times, but with the added stress on the computer of capturing, it does it a lot in these tutorials. So to kind of help you, I've definitely sped up a lot of the footage. This house right here is meant more for kind of an intermediate level. It's still helpful to watch maybe if you're a beginner, but it's definitely going to help you more after you have a grasp of the basics and have been doing those for a little bit. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and get started. We're basically just trying to draw out this shape right here. It kind of cuts in a little bit a few times. It's a little bit of a weird shape, but we want to draw out this piece first. Cut in right here below this dormer. Kind of see where it comes out just a little bit there. A little bit of the roof section is visible before it goes underneath that dormer. This one we want to kind of cut down so we're not sticking through the edge of that dormer at all. I'm just tracing out these gutters until we get to this point. Now we'll go underneath these dormers. Now when I get to here, I'm having a little bit of a hard time telling exactly what this is. So I just was going to go ahead and draw it out and then see what it was later. Turns out I did draw it wrong. It's actually not part of that main roof structure. It's actually a shed dormer that goes into a round dormer. And we'll discuss that later when I get there. But for now, I just go ahead and finish the loop. Go ahead and delete that face because of that ridge cutting through. Delete that face because of that ridge. These are all facing the wrong way. We want it facing kind of that southwest area. So anything that's not facing that area we'll delete as well as any others to just make it one long roof face. Same concept here, except we want ones that are facing the northeast. So any ones that are not, we'll delete, and then delete the unneeded ones to make it one long roof face. Just turning on the LiDAR here to kind of check that weird area I messed up on. Right now I'm fixing it. Just make it cut straight across. Then we'll add the extrusion later. So right here I'm just lining up LiDAR to make sure it's even with all the edges and match from a 2D perspective. I'll raise the height to make sure it's matched up on a 3D level. Since it's on a hill, I'm just trying to get some of the dots in the front of the home about halfway through that hill showing. So I'll just raise the home up to match LiDAR. Just making sure the gutters are lining up across the whole house here. So now I'm just increasing the pitch of all the roof faces till that. I'm mainly looking at that back roof face to make sure it's matching up. I can see that my LiDAR is still a little bit off, so I'm going to scoot it over a little bit more. Increase the pitch some more. And once again, my LiDAR is still a little bit too far up, so I'm scooting it back down. But everything's looking pretty good here. So now I'll try and add in this dormer here. Now I start drawing it as a shed dormer. But you'll eventually see that it's actually a combo between, there's actually two things there. There's a shed dormer, and then on top of that shed dormer, there's a round dormer at the very end. Right here, I'm just kind of realizing that, figuring it out by looking in the street view, and I can see that it's a round dormer. But I actually, when I was building it, I actually did not see the shed dormer yet, and I'll be adding that in later. So right now, I'm just matching the height of the LiDAR of the edges. So I make it pitch down the center. Then I'll add in my vertical folds on either side of it. So we have 3 folds going down the middle. We have the wrong shape here, so I'm just going to select the inner 2 faces first and lower the pitch significantly. Looks like to about 30. Then I'll select the outer 2 roof faces and I'll increase the pitch. Looks like to about 40. Once again, select those inner two, lower it even more to about 25. I'll adjust the handles on the pitched folds here to make them a little bit more even. Just making sure it still matches up to LiDAR, maybe raise the height a little bit. So now I'm just adding in this dormer here. Just a regular gabled dormer. Just trying to make sure everything is lined up with the gutters and the folds. It crashed on me there, so now we're going to move forward. I just need to lower that roof face a little bit until it matches LiDAR. You can see it's lower than the other side. So now it's matching both LiDAR and the image nicely. I'm going to raise this roof face to match LiDAR a bit better. Also select these three and raise them up all as one until they are also matching LiDAR. I'm going to add in this small dormer here. Make sure to convert to roof. I'll add this dormer right here. There's another small dormer right here as well. Just checking LiDAR, make sure everything matches. So now we'll head back here where things are going to get a little bit more complicated. We're going to start in this lower section. Beneath everything here, it's kind of only on one story, is this kind of hexagonal looking dormer. So you just draw out the edges as they appear, but then you just cut back like you would a regular intersecting roof piece or dormer. At that point, it's just adjusting the edges and the pitches to make sure that everything is lining up to the correct shape and also to the LiDAR as well. Right now I'm just moving the dots around, trying to get those triangles shapes on the ends to kind of be a little bit more even than they're appearing. So now I'll turn on LiDAR. Then we'll just raise the height first. Make sure the gutters match up. I'll double click the roof and we'll just increase the pitch until that matches LiDAR as well. You can see that these triangles still aren't quite even, so I'm just going to widen this point out here to make those triangles look a little bit more equal in size and shape. All right, now there's another one of those over here. My computer crashed again, so it's jumping a little bit. But same concept, just trace out the gutter and then just go straight back and make a square into the roof. In this case, we're not worrying about that little cutout. It's not going to make a big difference, so we'll just include that missing section in our roof because no panels could possibly, you can even fit one panel there. So after it's drawn out, just going to raise the height like the other one. Match up the gutters to LiDAR. Apply to all roof faces, then increase the pitch. I'm going to raise the pitch of just this middle face. So once again, we can see it match up to the image just a little bit better there. Actually just ended up deleting those other ones because it was causing some weird shapes to happen before it intersects with the roof. This way it matches up to both the image and LiDAR a little bit more smooth. We're going to add these two dormers here. This big one first, and then this little one. Now we got this ugly diagonal dormer here. I'm just going to draw it out as a roof with my R key. First we're just going to draw it out as a rectangle, but realize it will kind of poke through the other roof faces if I do it that way. So for that reason, I'm going to start at the ridge, and I'm going to just make step downs, essentially, so that we don't have anything weird poking through other roof faces. So I'll delete all these ones that are facing the wrong way, because we only want two. And we see that edge, the ridge matching up nicely there. So you're making step downs, but you're not creating them with the roof faces like we would to make like an actual 3D step down. It's just the shape, but really it's just the same as a regular two-sided A-frame gabled type of dormer. So I'm just raising the height, the LiDAR, and pitch as usual. And we can see that looks pretty nice. It's matching the image very closely. I'm just checking the house, making sure I've got everything before we move on at all. I can see that I'm now noticing where I missed that shed dormer in the front that's coming into that round dormer. So I'll match the top where the image shows the fold. I'll just kind of bring that down about halfway in between there. I will raise the pitch until it matches LiDAR. 30 looks pretty good. I'll convert to roof. It's looking a bit nicer. There's also a piece I missed on the back that sits above that weird dormer we drew on the bottom. Now it's just kind of this rectangular shape here. It's only one roof face. However, I started out with the wrong direction. I thought it was kind of facing that more north area. You'll see as I try and raise it up and match it to LiDAR here that it is not matching up because I have it going the wrong direction. So how I fix that is I first just make it flat. And then I'll just pitch that edge to the direction I want it facing. Now it's facing the correct way. I match up the gutter first and then increase the pitch till it matches LiDAR. So you can see it sits a bit higher than that first one we drew, but below the other dormers that we drew in that section. So everything looks like it's matching up pretty nicely. Right now I'm just looking for which trees I'm going to need to draw. You can kind of see I'll need to draw some of this clump here. So I just draw them out from the 2D view first, and then I will see in LiDAR I need to draw. There's a really skinny tall one in the front corner. These ones on the mountains are a little bit tricky because they're all just going up, and you're going to have to, you might need to think you need to draw all of them, but we're actually going to draw the mountain later. So right now I'm just filling in these trees that I'll need to draw, and then adjusting the height after I've already drawn them out. Make sure they're all matched up to LiDAR. All right, so now we're going to draw this mountain. We can see where LiDAR is showing it. I'm actually just going to use my R key on my keyboard and draw it as a roof. It's almost like a house next to it that's blocking the sun. So I'm just kind of trying to duplicate the shape the best I can with the tools provided in the roof tool. You can see I only deleted one face, but I'm just changing the heights of different ones. It's just like a roof, though. You're going to match up the gutter to the bottom of the mountain and then try and increase the pitch until it matches where the LiDAR is saying that mountain is. So that's one part of the mountain done. Looks like we've got it fairly accurate. Now there's this whole other section of the mountain right here that I'm also going to draw. And we want the one roof face, same concept, match the height up to the bottom first, then change the pitch to match where LiDAR is showing. Doesn't have to be exact, just like the houses, just you have to get the general idea so we can get some sense of how much sun blockage we're going to be experiencing there on the home. Just making some small adjustments on the trees, and then we'll move on to making these obstructions. I start out with these square vents, make it flush, copy and paste my first one. I just start pasting it on all the others. Now you'll notice I skipped the diagonal dormer because when I paste it I would have to rotate them. So I'm just going to draw those separately since I don't have to rotate any of these ones. Now I'll draw a 1 foot pipe, copy it, paste it where all the other 1 foot pipes are. You can see I drew a 2 foot pipe that I just copied and pasted and changed the height and width of the other one to make the bigger pipe. Now I'm going to draw these 2.5 foot pipes, and then I'm going to finish off with those squares on this diagonal dormer. And copy these other 1 foot pipes on the south roof there. I'm just checking near map all the different images to make sure I'm not missing any obstructions. Just making some small adjustments on the home so it matches up the image a little bit better. There's a satellite dish in this corner here. Looks like it drew it below the house, so I'm just raising it up. Looks like I included some of the gutter in that dormer, so I'm just bringing in the edge a little bit. Looks like on this dormer there's a small flat window up there. So everything's looking pretty good there. It's all matched up. There's just a few little features on there that we probably haven't seen before or discussed. But if you run into a more complicated house like this, your Aurora is going to slow down. It's going to be a little bit of a pain. Just remember to save often, keep trying. If you need help, just come get someone. But you will occasionally run into a house like this. This one's not too bad. The next one we're going to do is just the worst.